Hi guys, it's me, Yeonni. Welcome back to my channel. This video was completely unplanned. Literally like 10 minutes ago, I was vegging on my couch, not looking like this at all, totally like potato status. And I was watching Shane Dawson's second part of his 8-part series regarding Jake Paul, like Jake Paul's mind or something like that. I just really felt the need to get up, look decent, and make a video on my reaction to the series so far, but most specifically the second part of the series. Okay, so just a disclaimer, I am not a hater of Shane Dawson. I love that he's bringing so much substance to YouTube. I've been getting really sick and tired of all the, YouTube is entertainment, right? But it can be so much more. For me, I feel like YouTube is an amazing outlet to talk about really important topics like mental health. Just check out my channel, but I do talk a lot about mental health, and I think it's a great outlet to reach the youth on talking about really important topics. So I love that he is really using this series and using his platform for not only just doing mukbangs and which is really fun, honestly, but talking about important things that can have lasting impact on people. And it's also having the internet talking about mental health and what does it mean to be a sociopath, what does mental illness mean, what are disorders. I love that. As a professional in this field, I think that's so important, so great, and I'm so happy that that's happening. I do have the professional license as a therapist and social worker to say what I need to say, and I'm not a hater. What else do I say? Please don't leave any negativity in the comments or at me in general, because I'm allowed to have an opinion. This is my channel, and yes, yeah. To get to the point, I feel like Shane is an amazing storyteller, amazing editor. I think him and his cameraman Andrew, I think that's his name, they film everything, they edit everything, and through vlogs of his partner and his friends, I saw that he was really stressing out a lot about the editing and putting this series together. So I respect him so much for his work ethics and his vision and the way he can tell stories. It's really fascinating. He has so much power, I think, not only because he's Shane Dawson and he has over 10 million subscribers and he's been on YouTube for 10 years, but because he's talented. He's very good at what this new thing is, and I think it's because he's very passionate. He's someone who's very empathetic, who can really feel for people, and he really cuts the bullshit and gets to the point. I truly respect his craft. I guess I won't know what's going to happen with the rest of the series because only 2 parts of it has been released, but with the series so far, specifically the second part of the series, I can't help but have felt a little bit uncomfortable as a viewer who is in this field. Part 1 was kind of insinuating maybe Jake Paul's a sociopath, maybe all YouTubers are sociopaths and narcissistic, and maybe so, I don't know. But one of the biggest things that I've learned in my field and training is that we can't really put labels on people unless we've met them, unless we've been able to talk to them and hear their stories and kind of be able to evaluate them privately, independently, So the first one was the first part of the series. I was just kind of okay, maybe this is the angle that he wants to take it. That's good for me because there's going to be a lot of talk on what does it mean to be a sociopath, and more talk on mental health is always something that I'm always advocating. But this part 2 of the series, I think it was mostly the editing that made it feel like it was another one of his conspiracy theory videos, and I didn't like that because as the therapist, who I really respect, I think her name is Katie Morton, I love what she does on YouTube. I love that YouTubers are reaching out to her to really talk about mental health and bring awareness, and I love that. I love that Shane went to a licensed professional to talk about this topic instead of just assuming, instead of just throwing out labels here and there, because that's what I was afraid of in part 1. But then part 2, he went to a licensed professional to consult with her, and I really respected that, and I think that was a great choice, and I respect her as a therapist as well, and I think that was great. So it's not really the dialogue that they were having that really bothered me, but it really was the editing, where we have so much empathy for people who suffer from anxiety, who suffer from depression. Maybe that's because we see it more often, right? There's more conversation about it. But as Shane even mentioned in part 2, we don't really talk about, no one really tells us much about, people with antisocial disorder. What does it mean to have met a sociopath? What does it mean to be a sociopath? What is the difference between psychopaths and sociopaths? How many of there? And yes, 1 in every 25 people in your circle could potentially be a sociopath. So that's not a low number. So all of this was great, but it was really like the music and the sound. I felt like that was kind of stigmatizing in a way because I guess one of the biggest aspects of sociopaths is that they don't have empathy, right? And that was really emphasized, how they could do anything and get away with it. They manipulate, they deceive, and this is all very true of sociopaths. Sociopathy or antisocial disorder is not something, is not curable. It can be treated, but it's not curable. It's very, very difficult because of the level of manipulation that a lot of sociopaths exhibit as a part of their characteristics because of how their brain is functioning. And I did not like that. It felt so much like they kept using the words like icky and gross, and like icky, you know, I think that was the word that was used. Gross, maybe not verbatim, but that was kind of the feeling. The reason why we don't talk about it, because it's a lot more common than we think, and we don't want to think that people in our social circles are manipulating us and blah blah blah. So I agree with all of that, but I felt like the conversation that was missing, I guess it kind of came in near the end when they started when Shane kind of brought in like the empath in him, brought in like he feels sad and bad for them. And I wish there was more focus on that in like the middle chunk of the video, where we remember that sociopaths are also people. You know, something that we learn in school and in our training is that instead of referring to people as oh, she's the bipolar, she's the anxious one, you know, he's the depressed one. We were taught to not frame mental illness in that way because that takes the humanity and the people out of the mental illness. So instead of she's the anxious one, she's a human, a person who happens to have anxiety disorder, because that person is more than their illness. You know, so if someone is a bipolar, she's someone who has bipolar disorder, and there's more to her than that. And I understand that it could be kind of more difficult with someone with an antisocial personality disorder because they don't feel empathy, you know, they don't feel these things, so what's the point? You know, that could be a line of thought. They're not human. I think that was something that I felt like was being crafted in the narrative. And I wanted to emphasize, as a professional and as a viewer, and as also an empath myself, that people with antisocial personality disorder are also people. Yeah, they manipulate, yeah, they trick, they can be destructive to people around them, family, friends, coworkers, anyone, to get what they want, which is a lot of what the therapist said in the video, power, influence, but also they're destructive to themselves in their pursuit of this thing that they are literally just risking everything for, literally their lives sometimes. Like they said in the video, people with antisocial personality disorder, they don't really care. They could really not care about what happens to them because, like Shane said, with that eerie sound, just the end of the game. They're playing a game all their lives. And I don't have antisocial personality disorder, so I can't say I know what's in their minds, but it's kind of like, it's also sad for me. They can't really enjoy the simple things in life. Like, for example, I'm not living like the societal standard of like someone who made it yet, at least, you know? I just graduated from grad school, I just got married. We are a very young couple trying to like establish a stable financial foundation right now. So we're dealing with student loans and debt. Yeah, so those things happen, but also there's the little things in life that bring me joy, like my cats. Like, what kind of societal advantage am I gonna get from adopting cats? Not much. They cost a lot of money because, you know, they're living things. They won't help me make more money. They are not gonna get me better jobs or whatever could get me power, but they just make me happy. They bring me joy. And even getting married at such a young age when we're not entirely financially stable yet because of my job, that's another video, I am happy that I chose a partner that I can grow up with together. So I mean, it's really subjective depending on what your definition of happiness and joy is, but it does make me sad to think that people with antisocial personality disorder, they can't really experience these little joys because it's all about go, 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 and who can I manipulate next? What can I change up next? So my biggest thing was more with like the parallel between the editing style of this very important but sensitive topic and his conspiracy videos that are just kind of for fun, you know, and are not real, or potentially not real. I don't know what your stance on conspiracy theories are, because mental illness is very real. There are people in our lives, in your life, who could be suffering from antisocial personality disorder. Societally, they are perceived as monsters because they're manipulative, they don't love, they don't care, and all these things about being a sociopath. But I hope we bring more of the empathy part in, where they are people, and kind of like the discussion that happened at the end of the part 2. Something could have happened in their youth where they became traumatized, and trauma, as the therapist said, can have such long-lasting impact on an individual's life, especially if something happened in their youth. And we don't know if something happened to Jake in his youth. We don't know what his relationship with his brother is like, or his father is like, or if something happened, like I said. So I truly, truly hope that we remember that being a sociopath is not something you just see in movies. It's not entertainment. It's not like, ooh, this new thing that's so mysterious. It's like, they're people, you know, they're humans as well. I hope I made my point clear. I wonder if you agree with me or not. If you don't, that's completely okay. Just because I don't agree with you does not mean I'm attacking you. I think that's the biggest thing about the internet. We're allowed to have different opinions. So yeah, that's all I had to say for this video. Please comment and let me know. I would like to know what you think. And I'm so excited for the next part, really. I'm the type of person who likes to wait until all of the parts are out and then I binge it. But this is so fascinating. I just keep finding myself like refreshing my YouTube app to see if Shane's uploaded or not. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I love all this conversation on mental health. I hope it will spread positive mental health awareness as opposed to negative stereotypes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!